Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're enjoying your day so far, and yesterday the Florida Mutineers confirmed their roster for the CDL 2021. It's pretty much as expected. Of course, it does come in the wake of the very sad news a few weeks ago of Pharaoh passing away. They've changed Pharaoh out for Slacked on this team. The rest of the squad is going to be Skies, Awakening and Havoc. Going to be talking about in the coming minutes here what we think this squad could potentially do and some other roster-manious things that are on the horizon. Intrigued to hear your thoughts in the comment section. But I'd like if you guys enjoy the video, subscribe if you are new. As always, I'd greatly appreciate it. Really helps out the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that. First of all, let's talk about this. Fire and Scraps both looking for Scrims. I'm told they're fourth for the Paris Legion. It was potentially meant to be Goonjar. Now it is going to be Classic. Scraps, Fire, Aqua and Classic. Fire and Scraps are both tweeting out at a very similar time that they are looking for a Scrim. And I believe Fire even mentioned on stream that, well, they're going to be streaming Scrims a few days down the line. Didn't, of course, say what squad he's going to be on, but it certainly does look like it is going to be the Paris Legion one as it stands right now. Scraps comes back and says, look, if he photoshopped this, he didn't even tweet at the same time as me, but I saw this from a couple of different angles, and apparently he did. I don't really know, but yeah, certainly seems to be happening. Scraps probably just trying to bait the timeline. Once again, we're not falling for it this time. Goonjar says as well, look, it's crazy how fast people switch up on you, so yeah, I think Center also mentioned in the Stay Attached podcast relatively recently that he was certainly right there, ready to get in the Pro League, but yeah, for whatever reason, he got sketched on and it didn't happen. It looks like maybe Classic now is going to be in that team as we did just look at. Also thought I'd mention this, so Jeremy Studd, of course, well, a caster last season at the latter half of the Modern Warfare season, but a player back in the day as well, scrimming with Spacely, Lacefield and Profizi. I'm not really sure if Jeremy Studd is trying to make a comeback here for the upcoming season in the Challenger side, but yeah, certainly something to keep your eyes on as well, as we kind of have that question as to what the casting talent is going to be looking like for the upcoming season with, well, some chaos in the casting talent booth, let's just say. This also from Crone, Coach JCap, I think he forgot to log into his Burn 100T account, so we can see a few days ago here there was the Burn 100T playing alongside Kenny, Temp, Slasher, etc. Now it says JCap is in the call with Bevels as well, because they were scrimming up against the Los Angeles Gorillas. So yeah, seems like JCap could be the coach here. Certainly makes a lot of sense, right, given his existing relationship with Slasher, won a World Championship with him back in the day, and also Murdoch, of course, who's the general manager over there, the Oak Boys and all that kind of stuff. TJ does come and say, look, you see how bad we were last year? You think I would let that guy coach me? But yeah, it does seem like that's going to be the case. From my perspective, certainly makes sense from a number of different angles, given JCap retired a couple of months ago now. So the Florida Mutineers come out and confirm yesterday, ready for a new war. Skies, Havoc, Awakening, Slacked, and Ricky Achura, of course, their coach. Pharaoh, your spirit lives on with the Mutineers. Fear the Deep with the F3, which honestly a really nice touch. It'd be cool if they had changed their hashtag to that permanently or something like that. That'd be cool to see. But yeah, they do reveal their roster for 2021. Effectively a very similar roster, of course, to their roster for last season. That was very, very effective indeed, right? Mutineers, a lot of people, well, not necessarily they forget, but they had a very good run. They were the best team in the game for a time. They won 2 back-to-back events. They looked super strong. And look, at the end of the day, Pharaoh was a crucial part to that. But Skies, Havoc, Awakening, and Frosty were also crucial parts of that in the 5v5 arena. So when they made the decision at the time to drop Frosty from the team and then keep Pharaoh on the squad, and also there was this clip, right at the end of the video, Pharaoh, I imagine like some sort of announcement thing that they did maybe a month or so ago, like when he was talking about how he was ready to, ready to win on the Florida Mutineers for next season once again with the same group of boys. Yeah, unfortunately, that did not come to fruition, but yes, Skies, Havoc, Awakening, but of course it did make sense for them to remove Frosty at the time and, well, keep the core 4 from last season that did so well. But given how everything went down over, well, the second week, I suppose, pretty much did when the game did launch, Black Ops 4 came out around the 13th of November, the whole situation happened and they had to try and find a replacement for Pharaoh, as unfortunate as it was. And Slacked does make sense for a number of reasons. I think a lot of people are probably overlooking this team. We're going to talk in a second about how well their scrims have been going lately. A lot of people would say these guys are maybe top 3 in the world right now in terms of power rankings in these early online scrims. And so, well, how will that potentially change with what Slacked brings to the table on this squad? And again, this is the clip as well I'll probably share for you guys right at the end of the video, as Slack does say, I'll be joining the Mutineers ahead of the 2021 season. I know I've got some big shoes to fill. I'll do my absolute best to make Pharaoh and the Florida fans proud. I'm thankful for the opportunity to join the squad. I'm ready to go super hard this season, and yeah, he's definitely right, he has some big shoes to fill, but yeah, maybe he can potentially do it. So this is the squad: Awakening, Havoc, Skies, and Slacked. And the fact that Slacked has been picked up here does make sense for a couple of reasons that we'll look in a second, but as a core 3, this is pretty damn deadly, right? Like, Skies one of the greatest AR ARs in the game over the last couple of seasons. This game also is pretty much AR dominated as well, at least as the meta stands right now. Awakening has been looking so good. If you guys watch this guy play Scrims, or I was just watching Chicago scrim them last night, some of the kills Awakening gets are like, wow, this guy is absolutely cranked. And Havoc as well has also traditionally been very good in tryout games. You guys might remember Black Ops 4 on Genji, a very solid player in that game. Black Ops 3, he kind of had his come up as well after, decent Advanced Warfare for sure, with a couple of memorable moments. But yeah, Black Ops 3 was really where people started talking about Colt Havoc and the Greasy Gang. And of course, Pharaoh would have been like a phenomenal fourth on this roster, given how he rounds them out in terms of the slaying. That is the question with Slacked coming into the squad. Can the slaying power on this team quite be what it needs to be to match the likes of the Dallas Empire, to match Chicago Huntsmen, to match Atlanta FaZe over time? That is, a question they will have to deal with. But maybe Havoc and the rest of the guys can step into a slightly different role to pick up some of the slaying which maybe Pharaoh was doing last season, which Slacked traditionally hasn't done the last couple of seasons, been more of a dirty work player, and Havoc has been like the pure entry guy. So yeah, definitely I think we're going to have to see some big numbers here out of Awakening and Skies if this team wants to be competitive at the highest level. But so far, in the first couple of weeks of scrims, definitely looks like that has indeed been the case. So I'm pretty high on this roster. I think they've honestly got a good opportunity here to do something special, and I think surprise a lot of people. Like, people maybe forget too easily how good this team was last season. Of course, yes, it was a 5 versus 5 situation. Then they had Pharaoh and Frosty on the team. But the three men that remain on this squad in Skies, Havoc, and Awakening are a very solid core three indeed, and Slacked joining them does make sense. I just wanted to, talk about Slacked real quick, because people's opinions on Slacked are definitely very split, right? People either tend to think he's like awful. I actually just remembered this, just thinking about it, going on a quick tangent. Slacked, do you remember when I did the video about he was calling out Awakening for like using a strike pack or something, and now they end up being on the same team? Just thought it was kind of entertaining. But people either look at Slacked through that lens of like, okay, this guy's a bit of a hothead, like, he's maybe a bit disrespectful at times, maybe he thinks he's better than he is or something like that. Or the other side of the argument is that like he's super underrated, right? He's won multiple championships over multiple years, definitely doesn't get the credit he deserves, and deserves a starting spot in the league, and seems to be doing very good in these early online, in the early online scrims that they have been playing against the best teams. So I wanted to look at this as well real quick, just to show you that Slacked and Skies actually did team together on Luminosity Gaming at the end of the Black Ops 4 season. So after the Anaheim results that LG had, and Gunners went out the window slightly before that, then Skies, came into effect for this team in addition to Brack. So Skies and Slacked have some existing relationship. They honestly had a pretty decent run at a couple of these events, but just fell short of proper success. But it also must be noted that, if you exclude the Seattle Surge shambles of the Call of Duty League 2020 that Slacked was on, Slacked has pretty much won a championship every year before that. You can see Fort Worth, of course, in Black Ops 4 days in March that year. Then in World War II, he was on LG, won CWL Birmingham 2018, an event that I attended, the first round I went to. Infinite Warfare, they won Anaheim 2017, also won Luminosity Gaming. The year before that, in Black Ops 3, they won, UMG South Carolina. And then in Advanced Warfare, he won MES Detroit on this Elevate team. So for a number of different years, he's won championships for multiple games in a row. And definitely is a winning player and knows what to do and knows how to win, and probably can guide these guys to some degree to get them into that situation, because Awakening's still very new to the scene, clearly an incredibly talented player, maybe in a similar way to Looney, how Looney's won championships over multiple seasons as well, and done it, typically back to back, and as Slacked clearly has done. He knows what he's doing, he knows how to win, and I think Crimsix did a tweet at the time and say, look, Slacked is a guy that you got to pick up to the Pro League, definitely deserves to be there. And of course, the way the situation's gone down for him is pretty remarkable, but he does find himself in the Pro League, and probably with a lot of hunger to prove himself that he can be a very effective player on this team. So I'm looking forward to how this team does. Could be a nice redemption story maybe for Slacked if this team does do well. But the firepower on this team is the question mark in theory, right? Like against Atlanta FaZe, against the Dallas Empire, against Chicago, and Los Angeles Thieves, these type of squads. Can this team compete over the long haul? I think that certainly they'll be right up there as a contender, I think, as the Mutineers were. Right now they seem to be very good in this online arena these first couple of weeks of the game. But in the long term, can Slacked quite make up for Pharaoh's slaying power, which was so important to win the Florida Mutineers had such a good run at times throughout the Call of Duty League 2020. I think this team can be competitive. I wouldn't be surprised to see them be a top 4 team relatively consistently, but I think this team has slightly less chance than last season's team did of actually winning an event and taking it to that level. I can see this team making grand finals and such, but can they get over the line against a team with a lot of slaying power? That is probably the thing that might be their downfall, where what Pharaoh did potentially bring to the table. But it's going to be interesting to see. Certainly very intrigued to hear your thoughts in the comment section below on how you think this roster will do in the upcoming season. And just to finish off with this funny clip as well that came out from OpTic Chicago, I think this is from way back in the day when they were on the Huntsman with them. Well, Arzetiz's laugh is just it just cracks me up every single time. It's just it's a funny listen. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. It really helps out the ensure with the know you enjoy this content, other people like you may enjoy this content as well, and help grow the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always, take care, and I will see you next time.
What? Matt, look at your taskbar, brother.
Yo, get off, bro.
Look at his taskbar, it's so huge. Listen,
Oh my God, it's huge.
J Rose Baller says, why is the taskbar so big? What the?
One time when you brought it up, I was like, no, I'm not sure how much they're gonna roast me. I randomly got center pair, and they were like, look at it, it's so big. I'm gonna make it bigger too.
As you guys know, I like to make money with the same gang. And here I am, playing with the same boys for the 2021 season. I'm excited, and I can't wait to get to it.